You know what? I'm going to shut up because we got 50 minutes left, and I would like for us to answer as many questions as possible, because what we just did is we threw a shitload of information out at you all, and all of a sudden I bet you guys have all kind of questions because you're seeing very specific things in your head. So I want us to everybody start raising your hand if you got a question, and we're just going to start at the top and we're going to go. And now we're going to run it like a podcast. We're just going to run. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Real quick, one of the things we had talked about, my regional PR chair brought up, which is a great point, is when members of H&I or public relations are going to these facilities passing out paper copies of whatever forms that we're using, we need to be careful with that. So instead of handing off like 20, 30, 100 copies of this paper form, maybe we're only going to give them 1 or 2 that are laminated, so that when they get them in the facility, they can clean off their form, so we're not contaminating other people or ourselves. So it's something we want to consider moving forward, that this is how we have to protect ourselves right now. So like laminating your documents as you go in is probably a really good idea. The other thing, we had a question about verification papers. How are we signing them? Well, the North Star group, Shane can talk about like how we have an email address, you email it to us, and we sign it electronically and email back with a timestamp and everything. Those are the only questions I have so far, Shane. I'm keeping track as we go. You're muted, Shane. He's a rookie. He's still learning.
I don't know, dude. It's done that to me like for 3 days in a row. We're going to go over I see 3 hands raised. We're going to go to Mark, then we're going to go to Maximiliano, and then we're going to go to I Love NA. Go ahead, Mark.
Hi, thanks. My name is Mark S. I'm from the South Okanagan, British
What up, Mark?
Canada. Hey, Shane.
Blue Jeans. What's up, Blue Jeans?
Yeah, so our area paid for a Blue Jean account about a year ago, and with the idea of maybe doing some PR or just area meetings or allowing, because we're a fairly widespread area. And so we've been sort of learning a little bit, but then when this pandemic thing happened, all our meetings are shut down. And so we've started a single online meeting called Okanagan NA. We're kind of modeling ourselves as a group. There's about 4 to 6 of us keeping it going. And we have some members attending. And so one of the things that I can see coming out of this is a lot of people are getting some skills to deal with online, which is really good. And that's going to be good moving into, we have a new prison just south of us that we're just starting to get into, and then this happened and now it's on hold. But what I'm wondering about is funding, and where are you guys getting your funding now that groups are not meeting and you have no 7ths coming in? And what are you doing to address that, right? Because the half of the problem is how are you paying for all this stuff, right? Is where are you going to get your funds from and stuff like that, right? That was my only question.
Dude, that's a great question. And so I'm gonna throw back 10 questions at you, because that's like a set of roots, right? So when we think about like an H&I meeting, what needs to be funded? Well, number one normally is literature, you know, and then some may talk about you know, gas money or something. I don't know, but number one's literature, right? So if we're not passing out literature at the H&I meeting, we actually, and I don't know if Chris can go find this, we made a video. What's today? Sunday. We made a video Friday that's a minute and 9 seconds about how to access the NA.org website and go exactly to the free literature, the pamphlets, booklets, and all that's on NA.org, and get it in your language. So that's one thing. But to be very specific and just get out of the way, members have been paying for all our shit. It's, you know, like the North Star online group, you know, is a home group. You know, we donate to the structure now. We had a group conscience, but for 2 years we didn't accept any money. We just paid for the account. And then, you know, I work at the home group area, regional, zonal, and I volunteer at the world level too on some open world projects. So I have acquired all the necessary equipment a piece at a time, you know, a loudspeaker or a Bluetooth speaker, you know, a webcam. I already had a laptop, you know, the things that you could use for a virtual setting for service meetings and then doing these hybrid meetings. I acquired it a piece at a time, and I bought it all used or refurbished off eBay. You know, microphones, speakers, cameras, projector. You know, we use a projector a lot of times because that's something to think about if you're going in a facility. What if they don't have a TV? You know, we use a projector, you know, and members have paid for it. Our area would have paid for it, but, and this is something I know that you cherish, is that as a home group, we cherished our autonomy. So if we paid for it, we owned it, and we could do with it, what we wanted. Nobody was going to tell us what to do, you know. So it's a couple of ways you think about that, you know, like it was, our Zoom account was paid for by the area for a little bit because we were actually an outreach meeting. And when we transitioned over into a full meeting and a full group and a meeting both, we took back the 7th tradition and paid for it, you know. So that's it. I mean, people are doing 7th tradition through Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. You know, there's a bunch of different things, and you know, we thought long and hard before we made the decision to do that. And then because we didn't want to fight about money, because that's what happens when you got money, all of a sudden, and you got more money than you need, where are you going to spend it on? You know, and so we actually decided to fund a North American virtual meeting phone line, which we'll get to here in a little bit. I forgot about that. And but that's where we're getting the money. People are just donating it because they're not sending it to other places, you know. Does that kind of help, Mark? Okay. Maximiliano, go ahead, man.
Hey, I'm Max from Argentina. I would like to ask about experience, if you have any experience to share about doing public information in this current situation. Because here in Argentina, we're in a lockdown. I mean, all groups are closed and nobody's allowed to be on the street. So we are not able to do public information as we used to. So I would like, we're planning, here in Argentina, we have a G Suite from Google. So we are using Meet a lot. We are planning to run, to organize a meeting through this kind of media, but we need to inform all the addicts that, well, we currently have a 24/7 group running on this platform. It's in Spanish. It's an open meeting that runs all day, every day. And we would like to inform this, but we don't have the experience doing public information with these new technologies. We'd like to know if you have any of that, any experience to share. Thank you.
We do. It's good to see you again, man. Well, so what I was thinking when you were asking that was public information to professionals or public information to potential NA members, because those are two different things. And you're right, the approach to both of those is different. You know, professionals are used to emails, you know, navigating websites, videos, things like that. And the general public is not, you know. And so when I think about what we've done here, we've made a couple of different public service announcements. We've made videos, you know, 30-second, you know, 1-minute videos, and we can talk about that later. I'll get back in contact with you about getting one made for you all. But you know, the biggest way we've done it, dude, social media. And Chris, you know, Chris, you want to jump in about making the Quarantine New England page?
So I didn't make that page.
Whatever, close enough.
Yeah. All right. So originally it actually just started as Quarantine NA, and it started out in Seattle area. And when this thing happened, I don't know if anyone was paying attention, but it started out, obviously no members. They made this page within a few hours, a few thousand people Within 3 days, they had 30,000 people. So if you want to reach people, right now, social media seems to be the way to do that. We just have to be careful with our own anonymity. Maybe you just want to post updates and not allow people to comment to show their names. Stuff we want to start thinking about as different committees evolve. But it is a very effective tool. We just got to be careful how we use it, like most things.
Max, what are you guys using down there most? Do you use Facebook, Twitter, Instagram? Do you use WhatsApp?
Oh yeah, thank you. We're mostly using Facebook and WhatsApp. Currently, we have a couple of meetings, couple of groups that they are running meetings through WhatsApp, and we opened a private group in Facebook from the Argentinian region a couple of days ago in order to inform addicts that that might be isolated that we have this meeting running. But well, as you mentioned, we wanted to share to reach the addict. It feels like we had our hands are tied with this situation, so we are trying to prove new things and see how it goes. I mean, what you shared about social media and avoiding people to comments, it's I appreciate that.
I wonder what capabilities your G Suite has that we are all just unaware of because there's so much.
Well, this what I can the G Suite, you can you may you have the possibility to create a meeting that is just an internet link where you can jump in. And my current experience with that is that it's faster and use lower broadband than Zoom, so it's better for for all the here. The connectivity here is not quite good, so using Meet is better than Zoom, and we are able to have up to 250 people in the meeting with that kind of meeting instead of the 100 that it's allowed by Zoom, by the standard account with Zoom. We found out that we have more accounts in the G Suite that we thought, because we have a grant from Google. We currently have a grant from Google for this G Suite, and we thought that we have 50 accounts, but we were able to create up to 70. So it's a very powerful tool, very small tool on the cell phone. It's just is less than 10 megabytes, and it's quite useful because you have the control. You need to log into the meeting with this G Suite account, and you might have the control there to silence people and to allow people outside of the organization. And for Google, outside of the organization means outside of this account created at the G Suite. So the down part is that you have to admit everybody that logins. So when you have these administrators of the meeting, they have the control of who get in or not. So you have to pay attention on the screen every time, because you need to allow the people to log into the meeting. So you are put it like in a waiting room. When you try to access the meeting with the link, you're putting in the waiting room, waiting for the administrator to allow you get into the meeting. But as you mentioned, it's professionals are allowed are more familiar with this kind of technology, that they can reach when all the professionals got this link of the new meeting. They were allowed, they were able to get into the meeting with no problem. But for most of the addicts, it's not the current situation. In fact, their phones are quite old most of the time. So we go with Meet because it's a very small and light application instead of Zoom. But well, we're at this moment, we are not doing any H&I. That all I heard from you guys before, it was great, and we'll try to use Meet with all these on the services, on these detox clinics, that they have the ability to run to run a meeting, but a virtual meeting, and with Meet, we found out that it's much faster. It's much simpler for everybody to use that than Zoom. So we went to that kind of virtual meetings, and with the fact that we don't have to pay more money, that that it's free with the G Suite. So
Well, I'm actually really glad you're here, because we haven't seen you in what, about 7 days, 8 days. How long has it been, Chris?
About that, since we did the little Zoom thing.
Well, so here's what I would ask, because this is such a rapidly evolving situation, and Greg's here. Greg does a lot of work with Laura and Alejandro on the BMLT stuff. And are you seeing anyone from other parts of Latin America, or just Argentina right now?
Oh shit.
You're
okay.
good?
At this moment, well, this meeting that we have, 24 hours a day, we have like shift, 2-hour shifts per server. So we have currently servers from Peru, Costa Rica, and
Okay.
Spain. So we have
Well,
all Latin American at the meeting.
So my next question was, hearing that, was so all the dialects are able to be kind of understood well enough?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah.
So then we
No
need
problem at all with that.
we need to make you a video. We need to make you a 15 or a 30-second video, and I'm going to connect you with Jared, and we're gonna call Charlie and Alejandro and Ramiro, and all of us are gonna figure out.
Yeah, Ramiro told me. Yeah, Ramiro's supposed to be on this meeting, but he was late until night. So
that's okay. That's okay.
Ramiro's
As long as he's listening.
Yeah.
We're gonna make a video then with you. We're gonna ask you. I'm gonna connect you with the video person, and then you guys can start sharing it, because that's what we're doing. We're doing YouTube, and we're doing Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, because that's all we can fucking do. that's all we can do. So we're gonna start with what we can do, and we'll Chris, make sure you get Maximilian Ano's email, and let's schedule another meeting later today or tomorrow, and we'll get that started. Because
Sure.
you know this is the first time we're talking about a different language than English now, and you guys are at the point where you're ready for that. You've established a meeting place, you've established a protocol, so let's get the word out. Now Kelly's here and Greg's here, and I want you guys to jump in whenever you want to. Like they're tired of fucking listening to me, but